We're back with more puzzles from the Laszlo Polgar chess book Mate in 2 section. We got 14 puzzles where I explain the checkmate patterns names. We got 7 quotes from famous players from chess history. 30 seconds to solve each puzzle. See how many you can get before the time runs out. Grab your popcorn or your snacks. Set me up on the TV because you do not have to pause on these ones. We just got a timer. If you have a friend who's really into their chess improvement journey, please share this video with them. Let's get into it. Your 30 seconds to start off the first puzzle. Checkmate in 2. White to move as always. Starts now. Here we need to use a decoy sacrifice to force the king into a suffocation mate. Rook sacrifice on e8, king must take, and we follow in with the knight. Suffocation mate is when the bishop restricts the king and another piece delivers the checkmate, usually the knight. 686. We have another suffocation mate, but it's a bit more complicated, a bit more to calculate here. We got 2 kind of knight checks here, both are very important, but you need to get the order correct. The correct order to do it is knight takes d6 first, check. This is the suffocation mate pattern we had before, so it forces the knight to take. We need to increase the scope of our bishop here, so the knight can come in with check using the Boden's mate checkmate over here theme to help restrict the king, delivering a suffocation mate. 687. King is on a light square, so our light square bishop is going to be important, but we need to get the order correct. There's 2 kind of candidate moves here. We have rook check up here and bishop check here. Bishop check is incorrect, even though it looks really good, because after knight takes and we give the check, king can go down. So it's not checkmate in 2, it's actually checkmate in 3, hook mate here. But checkmate in 3 is not what we're after. We need to be accurate, we need checkmate in 2. Instead, we start with rook to c8, check. If the knight takes, we've removed the checkmate defender from here, so our bishop can come in and deliver the checkmate in the corner. If instead the king chooses to run, king b7, hook mate is when the knight's going fishing, protecting the rook, catching the king as bait. Hook mate. 688. You start off this puzzle as normal, giving the checks systematically with the queen, and then you try the knight check. All this seems to fail. So then you move on to threats. How can we threaten mate in 1 in a different way? That's unstoppable. The way you can do that, rook to h5, threatening mate in 1. The only way to try and get out of the check is to take it with the pawn. But now we've increased the scope of our queen here. So we can slide on over here, given the checkmate in the corner, 689. Hopefully, if you've been with us for a while, you solve this one instantly with the pattern recognition that you've got from seeing so many Anastasia's mate themes we've done throughout the series. So you can sacrifice your rook here comfortably on h7, king can take, and rook slides over for our Anastasia's mate, 690. This king's trying to get cheeky and he's trying to run away this way. So we don't really want to give him time. We also want to get this bishop involved. It's blocked by the rook. So we've got to get this rook out of the way. We sacrifice it, rook d8, opening the scope of our bishop. King must take, closer to the queen, which is exactly what we want. And now we can follow up with either queen check here works. So let's say queen here, defending the queen, checkmate there. 691. We have to soften up this king here. We can tell we're going to attack because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces really close. But how do we soften him up? I can see a lot of pressure on this square. We've got to figure out which knight we want to sacrifice here because we want to force this pawn to take. This knight's doing a good job restricting the king on this square. So we're going to leave him there and we're going to get the other knight in, check. Also taking away this square. So he's got no other choice but to take. We've opened up the defenses of the king. So now the queen can come in, and we've manufactured an epaulette mate here with the knight's help. 692. Noticing that the king's kind of stuck in a box here. He's surrounded by the pawns and the knight, but he has a lot of free movement on these two squares. So we need to take away this movement. This knight is stopping our attack, but we have two attackers, one defender. We have more firepower than our opponent. So we can sacrifice our rook here. King can't do anything, so the knight has to take. And we've backed him up. Checkmate there with the rook. 693. We only have one check in the position, so that should be what we look at first. The only check, even though it looks silly, is rook h8. So let's calculate. They only have one response. It's very easy because the knight is restricting here. The only response, because it's defended by the queen, is for the knight to take. Does this do anything? Well, yes. We can't go here because the rook, right? But this knight was in our way, so we've cleared the diagonal here. So we can slide on over this way with our queen. You'll notice it is very similar to an Anastasia's mate pattern here, but using the queen instead of the rook, and we're at the top here instead of on the side. 694. Very similar to an Anastasia's mate again, But we need to set it up with a rook sacrifice. We sacrifice the rook on d8. King must take. There's no other legal moves because the queen's blocking it off there. Then we can come in with the queen here, delivering the checkmate with the knight's support. 695. What checks do we have? It's very easy to discredit most of the queen checks immediately because almost all of them lose the queen, right? Queen's defending here, here, rook, king, and our rook is not well placed to checkmate the king if it's in the corner. So we're going to start looking at rook checks. We have one, very simple, so let's play it. Rook f5, check. The king is stuck, it cannot go anywhere, so it has to take. It has to give up its defense. It was very well defended before, and now it's stuck in the open. So our queen can come into g7, and we have another epaulette mate here. Remember the epaulettes are the shoulder mate thingos from royals from the past or pilots. Very simple pattern to remember. 696. We got a queen and a bishop, which is making me actually want to look at the bishop checks first because the king is on a dark square and it's hard to checkmate with just a bishop. So I don't really want to throw my queen. So I'm actually going to calculate the bishop moves first. There is only one check. So let's see what that does. Bishop to b6. Check. That would be mates. The king has to take. And I can stop there because I can see that we have led him into another epaulette mate here. So the queen can slide over. 697. Very similar to the last puzzle, but we use our rook instead of the bishop to create an epaulette mate. We sacrifice the rook here to get rid of its only defender here, creating the epaulette mate checkmate pattern that we've seen quite a lot. Queen can come into b7 for checkmate. 698. We've got two rook moves, and you can tell that the king is almost checkmated. We just need to figure out which rook to check with. If you check with this rook first, king goes up, and you follow up with a rook check here. He has way too many ways to escape, so it's pretty obvious it's not going to be that. So let's try it the other way first. Rook e4. He's cut off, so he has to take it. We forced him into a swallowtail's checkmate over here, because it looks like a swallow's tail. So our rook can come in and deliver the checkmate. It almost looks like a reverse swallow's tail this way as well, which is kind of funny. Interesting looking pattern there. And then even we've manufactured an epaulette mate here. So this is kind of a fancy, so many patterns I can see in one checkmate. Really nice. If you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate you so much for supporting my channel and for working on your chess. I'm sure you're just as passionate about improving at chess as I am, being an adult chess improver myself. Please share this with your other chess improver friends. Let's get the word out. There is a playlist you can go through. Episodes 1 to 9 is available in 14 languages. Episode 10 onwards, we got 22 languages there. That way you can just change the language to whichever one you desire or whatever closed caption you want. I manually check every closed caption on every video and every short diligently. So that is very accurate. If the audio track is ever off, you can rely on my captions. Keep going, my friend. You're going to achieve all your chess goals and dreams if you just keep at it, keep doing those puzzles, keep training, keep grinding. I'll see you next week.